It's time for this week's episode of Brandon's Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon's Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon's Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the USA Paralympian track and field, Alexis Halko. How are you doing today?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in the sport of track and field?
Yeah, so I actually didn't know about adaptive sports when I started because I started when I was 7. I kind of just got introduced by one of the moms from the adaptive group I was in Oklahoma. And she was like, hey, you should try this out because she saw me walking and I have CP. So it's kind of like cerebral palsy if nobody knows. But so it's kind of like obvious when I'm walking. And so she was like, hey, you should try wheelchair track or wheelchair basketball, any of the things they were offering. I was like, yeah, why not? It did take me and my parents a while to like get into like actually going. But yeah, once I got in the chair, I was very interested. I'm very happy about it.
Of course, what was it like starting at such a young age of 7?
I mean, it was definitely like a new world for me. I had never been around any kids with disabilities like me, like at all. So it was like, wow, this is a thing. This is like, because I've always been around able-bodied, like my sister. And so it was really cool to see that there was a community for me. And so I was really happy to know that and just be able to be more social with people that had the same ability as me.
How did you know that you wanted to get into competitive track and field?
Well, over the years, I just kept going with track. I did play wheelchair basketball as well, but track was the one I enjoyed most, I would say. And so I just kept going to like national championships, like junior worlds, stuff like that, and just kept kind of practicing and getting better and working on technique. And then I was approached by Kathy Sellers, who was an old performance director at US Track and Field, or Para Track and Field. And she was like, hey, you should think about, competing more competitively. And she came up to me at a junior nationals. And I think it was around 13. Can't remember. Think I was 13, and she was like, hey, you should really try and think of doing this. And so we just kind of went with that goal.
Of course, what was it like in 2015 going to the World Championship?
Yeah, so 2015 was awesome because it was kind of like my first like big championship. Like I'd gone out of the country a lot, but that was like my first time at a big championship. So it was really nice to like see all my international competitors because most of the T34s are in Europe. So it was really nice to just, sorry, my cat is in the way, but it was really nice to like try that out and see what I could do on the international field.
Of course, what was it like when you made the U.S. national team for the first time?
Yeah, so that was really exciting. I like had been hoping for that for a while. With my times, I was just trying to like keep going up from the standards and just trying to get as fast as I could. But it was really nice to see like the hard work pay off at the time and have those times like help me make my first team. And so it was really just like a nice achievement to like see the hard work pay off, I guess.
What was it like in 2016 going to the summer games in Rio?
Yeah, so Rio was my first Paralympic Games. I was 16. So I just turned 16 and I was so young, like I was the youngest on the team, on our track team. And so I was surrounded by all of my competitors who were much older than me. And it was definitely a scary experience. Just because I was so nervous, and like I'd been to Doha, I'd been to like a bigger international event, but I had never like gone to the Paralympics. I'd never like done the actual thing. And so being there was like, wow, this is crazy. And seeing all these like people I've heard about, like it was really cool to be surrounded by so many like amazing athletes. But yeah, I was really excited.
Of course, what was it like preparing for your first Paralympic Games?
Yeah, it was a lot of like just making sure I kept with my practice times. And during that time I was in high school, so I was training with my, like he was an able-bodied coach, but he trained me, and it was really nice to have him. But he helped me get my endurance up for the 800 because I was a 100, 400, and 800 sprinter at the time. And so we were working on sprints, but also like 800 technique. And so that was kind of a big thing, because normally I don't think people focus on the 100 and the 800 at the same time. So it was a lot of like endurance training, and making sure I had the motivation to like keep going.
Of course, during the 2016 Paralympic Games, what was it like balancing going to the Paralympics and also being in high school and worrying about your studies?
Yeah, it it was kind of like nerve-wracking, although my teachers were really like understanding about it. They were just like, yeah, we'll get you all the materials you need. Like I did most of my homework the first 2 weeks I was in Rio, and so I didn't really have to worry about it at the end of my trip. But yeah, there was a lot of preparation going into that, because yeah, it's definitely not easy like missing that amount of time, especially for like a big games like that. And so yeah, just preparation and just communication with professors helped.
Of course, what was it like when you found out that you made the Paralympic team again to go to Tokyo?
Yeah, that was very crazy, just because of all the COVID stuff happening. 2020 was just a crazy year where we couldn't even compete. And so it was a lot of like worrying about the performance and how I was gonna compete in when there was time. And so I was really worried about that. But after the trials, we were thinking like, okay, hopefully these times make up what they can be. And so finally I found out, and I was very relieved for sure, and just excited to go to Tokyo.
How was the preparation like of preparing to go to Tokyo?
It was a lot of mental preparation, to be honest, because just because of the hardships that the past 2 years have been, it was really hard to keep myself motivated. And so I think honestly, like the main like preparation I needed for Tokyo was the mental preparation. and I mean, of course, practicing, but like there was so much like mental hardships that were going on, and so I really just tried to focus on that and make sure everything else kind of played into that.
Of course, when you got to Tokyo, what was it like knowing that all of your preparation and hard work paid off for that moment?
Yeah, it was really exciting. I Even with all the COVID restrictions and everything, it reminded me of going to Rio and like being there with all the athletes. It just reminded me of like all the togetherness with all the athletes. And even though we did have to do a lot of like social distancing as much as we could, it was just really nice to be back in the village and just competing for my country.
Of course, what was that first feeling like when you got to put on the Team USA track and field jersey?
Yeah, it was really very proud moment, I would say. I'm always super excited to compete for my country, and like I'm super grateful that I've had the chance to do that the past couple years. But yeah, in Tokyo it was really like crazy because there were no fans like in the stands. So it was kind of just like keeping in your head like, hey, you gotta think, hey, there's fans back home, but you just gotta keep it kind of in your head and keep going. But yeah.
Of course, what was that feeling like when you got to put on that Paralympic jersey and have the Paralympic rings on your Team USA jersey?
Yeah, it was just another moment of pride. It never stops being like exciting to wear your USA stuff. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like most of the teams like at the village always want to trade you for USA stuff because everyone wants to wear your stuff. And yeah, it's really awesome.
How did it feel to obviously stand beside the Paralympic rings statue in the village?
Oh yeah, it was great. It's cool that they do have those around the village because you can take like photo ops and everything. But it's just a good reminder of like where you are and how far you've come.
Of course, in the village, what were some of your preparation and game day routines and rituals like?
A lot of the rituals, I would say, so like the week before, 2 weeks before, we did a lot of practices in the morning to get acclimated to the weather and the humidity, which was pretty rough. The humidity was crazy in Tokyo. And it rained so we were in the village like the first 2 weeks, and it rained like the first week, like the whole week. And so that was kind of rough for us on the track and practicing, because in the track chair it's not the easiest in the rain. But it was good to acclimate and get used to that. And then just a lot of making sure I get the nutrition and go to meal times when needed was pretty much my ritual.
How did it feel to obviously go win 2 gold and 2 silver during your Paralympic time and have that around your neck?
I got a bronze in my 800, actually.
What was it like obviously winning bronze and having that around your neck?
Yeah, it was definitely like an exciting moment. I was really just happy about it. I knew how hard the past couple of years had been, so I was kind of reflecting on that during that time, and it was just I was just happy to see that my hard work had kind of paid off, and it had shown itself with my medal, kind of.
What was that feeling like when you found out and that you lived your dream of making it to the Paralympics not once but twice?
Yeah, it was definitely just great to like remind myself that I still kind of had it in me. Even though it's been like 5 years now since Rio, it kind of just reminded me like, hey, you're in it for a reason, I guess. And I had the willpower to keep going, but also the times to keep going, and that was really nice to see, I guess.
What are some of your favorite memories and moments competing for Team USA on the Paralympic level?
One of them would be, so we have team meetings when we're at the Paralympics, and we all like come together and just talk about what we need to, just information. But then at the end, we always like get in a group and do like a Team USA call. So we'll just like chant USA, and then so that was really cool. And I always remember that. And then another memory is in Rio and Tokyo, walking into the stadium for opening ceremonies is always like a really memorable moment for me. Just because it's like seeing everyone and seeing all the rest of the teams in their opening ceremony gear, and like seeing everybody walk together is like really cool.
Of course, did you have any game day routines and rituals that you did during your time in the Paralympics?
Pretty much I think both of my races in Tokyo were at, I don't know if they were at night or in the morning. But I mean, I would just wake up, make sure I was ready to go. I put in my earbuds. I do like to get distracted before my race because I don't want to think about the anxiety and the nervousness. But I do make sure I have the headphones in, kind of get zoned in that way, and then get to the track and do a little warm up, and then that's pretty much it.
Of course, how does it feel to have Paralympian behind your last name?
Yeah, that's just really cool. I think it's like a great accomplishment, and like now having that title, it kind of like shows that, and so I think it's really cool that they made that a thing, because now, like, even though people might not know what that means, it kind of gives me like an introduction to be like, oh yeah, this I don't know.
Of course, who are some of your idols and who are some of the people that you look up to in the sport of track and field?
So all of my Illinois teammates, I definitely look up to them. Tatiana, Susanna Scaroni, Jenna Fessmeyer, who else? I mean, so many competitors and like people I've gotten to meet throughout my time in Paralympics have just definitely inspired me to like keep competing at my best. And also Adam Blakeney, my coach, definitely inspiration.
Of course, what are some of your future plans in the sport of track and field?
I'm not too sure now. I do plan on, well, yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens, pretty much. I hope to keep competing. I actually just graduated college, so I'm still kind of figuring out that end of things. So trying to think of career stuff. But hopefully, yeah, track is still in the future.
Of course, do you plan on competing in Paris 2024?
I think that would be a really fun games. And there would be a lot of T34 competitors, so I think it would be really fun too. So maybe.
What advice would you give people that are looking to get into the sport of track and field?
I think definitely, like, especially for adaptive athletes, definitely check out like adaptive websites that might be close to you or groups close to you, because that's what got me into it. I would have never known about Paralympics, any of it, if I hadn't kind of joined that at the beginning. But and also just do what you want and try it out. You never know if you don't try it. And I think that's just something that people need to do, because yeah, you might not think you could do it, but I didn't think I could like race in a wheelchair. I never knew that. And so I was like, okay, I'll try it. And yeah.
Of course, what advice would you give people that are looking to go to the Paralympics for the first time or even multiple times, just like you did?
I think it's a lot of making sure your mental side is right, and just stay motivated and have people in your life who want the best for you, and make sure they are helping you with those goals. I've been really lucky to have like amazing family and friends and coaches kind of supporting me all through this. And I think that's definitely like helped me get to the point where I have. But yeah, a great support system is like really necessary.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
So my Instagram is Alexa Halko, AlexaHalko. And then I actually have a link on my Instagram where you can like find my other socials. But yeah, that's my main one.
Thank you again, Alexa Halko, for your interview, and best of luck in your future in the Paralympic track and field side.
Thank you so much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Alexa Halko, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.